Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Hot Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Hot Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about a couple different topics. One of them being, obviously, Twitter/X being weird today. And I don't know if they're just suppressing some of the content I put on there last night or what it was. But I had a really weird deal where I thought I had my shit suspended or banned or whatever it was again, and then it turned out it was them basically being like, "Oh, there's like activity or something. Here's what it is." So I don't know if somebody was trying to hack my shit or if it was them actually suppressing stuff. What it was, because it was interesting. After I got back on there, I was looking for some posts that I posted last night, like right before I went to bed. Is what it was, and I'm pretty sure that they did knock at least one of them out. Is what it was because. Uh, Essentially, I was basically like, yeah, at what point are we just gonna fucking kick off civil war already and be done with this shit? That's what it is, dude. Because it was basically talking about like all the leftist insanity. Here's what it is, which leads to the point of the other topic of the day, which is basically leftist opinions are not facts, and the people at piece of shit newspapers in this country, like the Columbus Dispatch, that give these fucking moronic leftists opinion piece articles to do is absolutely fucking ridiculous, especially when, in the case of the article we're about to talk about here in a couple minutes, the dude is clearly a fucking pedophile who is legitimately trying to fuck with his child's gender identity, is what it is, and either turn his daughter into a son or his son into a daughter. I'm not even sure which it is because it's so fucking. The dude never really makes it clear exactly what the fucking kid was born as, is what it is. It seems like in the first couple paragraphs I actually read of it, is what was there. So, yeah. And this is the problem right now. And again, it goes back to these people who are purposely trying to confuse the shit out of people, is what it is, dude. Because they want you confused and they want you just like, what the fuck, bro? And it's just like this whole thing where you're like off kilter to where they can actually get you and be like, haha, gotcha, kind of thing is what it is there. And as we talked about last night, uh, you know, with the whole thing that the Gays Against Groomers people brought up, which was basically the whole thing about kids consenting to this and then that, and this thing is what it is there. Also, I do want to bring something up too. I got an email last night from one of my mods who apparently found out that YouTube is in fact suppressing comments here. Um, Specifically, had left a comment on one of the videos last night where he was discussing terror cells everywhere in this country, and the fact that YouTube/Google is censoring that kind of material is fucking ridiculous because there are these things, dude. There are 100% terror cells all over this country, and hell, you can look at any fucking time during the week, honestly, dude, like any day of this week, honestly, and you can see an entire new terror cell coming into this country through our fucking open border system at the southern border. There's what it is, if not multiple for that matter. Because bring all these caravans here is what it is. But anyway, so we're going to talk about that stuff. We're also going to talk about DeWine and the Ohio Senate basically want to make Ohio medical weed dispensaries sell recreational weed. And it's like, y'all are fucking retarded, dude. Seriously. Like, that's the one thing I will say about that one right now. Like, Mike DeWine and the GOP in this state are fucking retarded entirely, dude. There is a reason why you have a medical dispensary and you have a regular dispensary, you fucking jackasses. It's not, they're supposed to be intermingled like that. And really, I think what it is, honestly, is it's them just being lazy and being like, well, we don't want to permit any more dispensaries being built and make any more jobs in Ohio be a thing because we're fucking douchebags and old fucks is what it is. And it's like, no, dude, like, that's the whole point. Like, honestly, and this is the biggest problem I have entirely with the whole fucking thing, dude. I did not vote for medical weed in this state. Or, sorry, not medical weed. I did not vote for recreational weed about a month ago here in the state. And there's a reason for that. And I said it before on this channel. I'll say it again right now. Because fucking George Soros and his piece of shit son, Alex Soros, were directly funding the fucking shit. Just like they were funding issue 1, the abortion amendment. That is exactly why I will never vote for that kind of stuff, dude. When I know who's fucking funding the shit, fuck no. When I know that they're going to try to monopolize the shit, fuck no, I'll never vote for that shit, dude. And that's the entire point. If you're going to make something a reality in the state or in the country or whatever, dude, it should be the people of that country, of that state, etc., being the ones to profit off of it. It should be people like myself who are poor as fuck being able to scrape together a little bit of money, a few $100s here or there, whatever it is, dude, and buy into something and then make a shitload of fucking money and become a self-made millionaire, pretty much is what it is. So, anyway. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and read this Columbus Dispatch opinion piece. Here's what it is from this fucking creepy ass guy. I do want to point something out too, by the way, because we're gonna go down the thing here. This is the creepy motherfucker right here that's actually writing this article that we're gonna discuss. Here's what it is, dude. This opinion piece article. This guy, I swear to fucking Christ, dude. I will turn on the local news every so often, and there'll be stories of, Ohio sexting this, Ohio sexting that's what it is, from like Dave Yost and them doing like a various operation, whatever it is at that point then. And it's basically either a prostitution sting or a child sex trafficking sting, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. It could be both of them for that matter, combined into one thing. It's basically like human trafficking stuff, and half the time it is minors involved and stuff like that, or them getting minors off the streets, or really them just catching pedophiles and stuff like that. And I shit you not, dude. Every fucking time I see the fucking mugshots of the white dudes on there of the people that they catch trying to meet with kids and stuff, they look exactly like this fucking dude right there on camera. This fucking guy who claims to be a lawyer here, this Nick dude, this Nick Zingarelli guy. This guy looks like a creepy piece of shit. Whoever gave this guy a fucking law degree needs to be smacked in the face, honestly. And that shit needs to be rescinded immediately is what it is, dude, for real. But yeah, this is what this bullshit article says here. Said, Ohio may chase my family away just like Missouri did. Anti-parents bill must be stopped. Which, by the way, what he's talking about, he's not talking about an anti-parents bill. What he is talking about is stopping the literal sex changes of fucking children. Why would you be against stopping sex changes of minors, bro? Oh yeah, maybe because you're a fucking pedophile, Nick. You piece of shit. Fucking scumbag. Anyway, so this is a couple hours ago. It says Nick Zarelli is an attorney living in Cincinnati with his wife and daughter. It says daughter, but I'm not sure if they were originally a son or if they actually are a daughter that's now transitioning to a dude. I have no idea, dude. Because the fact that he was referring to his child as daughter really makes me believe that it was actually a son that he had biologically, and now him and his fucked up wife are trying to turn their son into their daughter. And it could be dad be the one behind it. It could be mom be the one behind it. It probably is mom, honestly, is my guess, honestly, on that one. Because you look at basically the Jazz Jennings situation, all these other situations like that, dude. Because there was a lot of kids on that show, I Am Jazz, that were also like dudes that were turned into females is what it was. And if you looked at who was behind it, it was all these crazy ass moms is what it was, dude. It was all these biological females that wanted a daughter, couldn't have a daughter, had a son instead, and then they flip-flopped the fucking script, and instead of just, being like, no, I'm gonna raise my son, and that's the thing, that's what's worse too, by the way. They could easily have raised their son to be a great man. That dude could have found himself a wife. That daughter-in-law could have been the daughter they always wanted. And then who's to say they don't have 4 or 5 granddaughters at some point, Like, that's the problem. But because you literally medically transition this child, put them on hormone blockers, puberty blockers, etc., HRT drugs, all that shit like that, that legitimately is the same exact drugs used to chemically castrate pedophiles in prisons and will 100% stop puberty from ever happening to these kids, you just completely destroyed a generation. You destroyed that child from ever having children of their own. It's fucked up, man. And then you wonder why you have House bills here in Ohio and other states that are trying to stop the medical transitioning of kids, man. It's literally Bill Gates, George Soros, Agenda 2030 work, people. And the left has admitted this shit. They fucking straight up admitted this stuff because they have to. They have to eventually admit it, because if they don't admit it, their fucking spells, their witchcraft is what it is, won't actually work. It's the exact same shit why you see all these fucking people in the music industry and stuff like that who are clearly like fucked up Satanists that'll go there on stage and concerts and stuff like that and do like some Satanistic ritual and stuff like that because they're literally casting spells on us. And I mean that shit seriously. It's the truth, man. Like, people might laugh, but it's actually the truth, honestly. And like I've said many times in the past, we are literally fighting demonic evil right now, man. Hell, That can be proven very quickly, actually, the other day. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Thought I pulled this one up. Okay, I guess I didn't have to go back to X to do that then. Yeah, let me go back to X then real quick. Because it was talking about shit, where's it at here now? Yeah, here it is. So you have this article here where it is, or this post here, this one guy made the other day, where it was, we have reached a point where capitals are removing founding father Thomas Jefferson monuments while putting and erecting Satanist monuments in state capitals and state houses and everything else like that. Like, that's what I'm saying, dude. You take away an actual founding father, a guy that believed in Jesus Christ, etc., for fucking Satanism. Like, what the fuck, man? How does that even happen? How does that even get approved, number one? And number two, how is everybody behind that piece of shit legislation? Because obviously, in order for them to do that in the Capitol and stuff like that, dude, they have to go through the General Assembly and pass a piece of legislation and be like, hey, we want to, erect the statue in the state chambers, whatever the case be. And then they do that thing. How are any of those people still in office after that, dude, with that piece of legislation? It just blows my fucking mind, honestly. It really does. It's just so crazy. It's so fucking nuts, dude. It really is. So, anyway. So, for all intents and purposes, for the rest of this opinion piece article we're going to read from this leftist guy, we're pretty much just going to refer to this kid as the child, since we're not exactly sure which the kid was born as. I'm assuming it's a son at this point that was now being transitioned to a daughter, but who the fuck knows? So, yeah, it says wife and then their child. They're claiming daughter, but like I said, I'm assuming it's originally biological son. This piece of shit Nick guy said, I'm heartbroken. My child should be able to spend the month looking forward to Christmas like any other kid in the neighborhood. Instead, they have to worry about their basic rights. Ohio lawmakers were expected to consider House Bill 86 or 68 today, which would be a couple hours ago. This guy wrote this, and today is 68 here. So the bill would ban essential health care to transgender young people. Let's go ahead and see if that's actually true, though, right? Let's go ahead and actually look up. Oh, sorry, I can't do that because it's fucking stupid Columbus Dispatch articles. Okay, let's actually go to legiscan.com then. We'll go to legiscan.com real quick here, and we'll actually look up what House Bill 68 actually does, and then we'll call Nick's ass out to his fucking face at that point, dude. And show what kind of fucking piece of shit child molester this guy really is what it is, dude, and what kind of piece of shit child abuser this guy really is. So let's go HB 68. Okay. So basically we would enact a bunch of sections of revised code to enact the Saving Ohio Adolescents from Experimentation, or SAFE Act, regarding gender transition services for minors, and to enact the Save Women's Sports Act to require schools, state institutions of higher learning, and private colleges to designate separate single-sex teams in sports for each sex. So quite literally, it's to literally stop kids from having their fucking dicks cut off, young boys, and stop young girls from having their fucking tits cut off and double mastectomies. No, Nick, this is not stopping transgender healthcare, you sick pedo fuck. This is stopping piece of shit motherfuckers like you, dude, from fucking over your child for the rest of their life. Dude, like, honestly, I'm not a fan of Child Protective Services, but this is one of the many cases here where they need to fucking step in and take this kid away from these sick-ass motherfuckers like that Nick Zamini guy. Or the hell his name is there. I know it's Nick Zing something or other. Let me go back to it now. Shit, where's the fucking article now? Sorry, I got too many tabs open. Here's what it is. Yeah, this guy's name is Nick Zingarelli. Yeah. So literally, this dude is trying to transition his child and put them into medical experimentation is what it is. So the fact that he says daughter came out as transgender 3 years ago, which makes me wonder if he actually means my son came out as a trans girl 3 years ago. And I'm wondering how old this kid is, honestly. That's what I'm kind of wondering right now, dude. And this piece of shit says, I am urging Ohio leaders to block this dangerous bill. The SAFE Act is not dangerous, bro. What's dangerous is pieces of shit like you, bro, having any access to children, whether it be your own biological children or other kids for that matter. That's what the problem is right now. Entirely. Let's see. This piece of shit continues on, said, this isn't the first time I've had to fight legislators for my child's safety, but I pray it will be the last. I lived in Ohio my whole life before my wife and I moved to Missouri in 2019 to spend more time with her family. In 2020, our child told us they were transgender. We didn't understand exactly what that meant at first. What we did know is that we love our child unconditionally. Soon we met other parents of transgender children who helped us on our journey as we learned how to better support our child, including getting them the health care they needed and fighting for their rights. So what you're literally talking about there, we know what you're talking about there, buddy. You're talking about most likely your biological son being indoctrinated by the school systems you put them in public education there. Then they came out and were like, Mom, Dad, I'm a girl now. Treat me as a girl now. My name's Luna now, etc., etc. I bring up Luna, obviously, because that was what that sick piece of shit bitch in Texas called their son. Because, of course, again, going back to that woman who was a actual child pediatrician is what it is there. Wanted a daughter, had 2 twin sons, and then decided one day to basically turn one of their sons into a daughter. Instead of actually going out there and being like, hey, kids, I'm going to go adopt you a sister. That's what they could have done, right? This woman had more than enough money. She could have gone out there, gone to the fucking, into our, foster care system and either fostered a child to adopt them or just straight up found some kid to adopt is what it was, dude. And they could have given a young girl a better life in that situation. But instead, they chose to chemically castrate their fucking son at the age of 7. It's so fucking disgusting, dude. And by the way, for those interested in the story I'm talking about Jeff Younger's story, who is the father of that kid, James, whose sick-ass mom wanted to call the kid Luna. And I guarantee it's the same bullshit here is what it is, dude. Yeah, that guy just looks like a sick fuck, dude, in general. Anyway, continuing on with the rest of this there, the guy said, our worst fears came true when extremists in Missouri began promoting bills like Ohio's House Bill 68 would ban transgender young people's health care. Again, it's not health care to literally chop parts of yourself off, buddy. That is not health care, dude. Healthcare is literally going to the doctor, getting a shot when you're sick, getting some fucking medicine when you're sick, whatever the case be. The literal thing in the medical industry is do no harm, dude. That's the first fucking code of any professional, any medical professional in this country. But then, of course, you got pieces of shit like Beth Liston or like Anita Samani, 2 of Ohio's Democrat state reps right now, who are both medical doctors in the state. Anita, specifically, doing transition surgeries on kids in the state. Beth being a pediatrician. Neither one of these fucking cunts should have a medical license in the state ever again. Neither one of them should have access to kids at all, for that matter. Neither one of them should ever be in the General Assembly ever. Because you should both be in Ohio prison right now, facing child abuse charges, dude. Both physically and mentally at that point. Just like this fucking Nick guy should be. Because this guy is obviously fucking with his son, trying to turn his boy into a girl, mentally confusing this kid for the rest of their fucking life. And then they wonder why you have people who claim to be transgender, why the fucking suicide rates spike like crazy, dude. Because you have put them on this fucked up pathway. You have permanently altered their DNA with the bullshit you're putting into their system to block their puberty. You are actively taking a young boy who should be going through male puberty and shoving a shitload of estrogen in that kid's body. And of course, that's going to create crazy ass chemical imbalances. And the same thing with a female. You take a young female, you put a bunch of testosterone in her fucking system. Of course, her voice deepens like fucking crazy. Which, by the way, that can never be undone. It's why you have so many of these kind of cute young chicks now, is what it is, dude, who have detransitioned back to biological females, or as close to it as they possibly can. But yet they still have this crazy deep voice now because they were on testosterone for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was. And people wonder why I'm in this fight, by the way. Because I have a young niece in these school systems right now. I have a young nephew in these school systems right now. Well, technically he's not as young as he used to be. He's almost graduating age, but still. I have 2 minor kids that are direct family to me that go into these school systems every single day, man. You have to put up with this bullshit. Have to put up with this fucking gender confusion garbage being pushed at them by child molesters claiming to be teachers, what it is. And I'm sick and tired of it, dude. I really am. And like I said before, the only good thing that happened with the 2020 lockdowns, like obviously it fucked kids over for years to come because of, you know, not wanting to learn the basics, reading, writing, math, etc. What it did, though, was it exposed hardcore all the sick fucks in our system right now, dude. All these sick-ass, predatory teachers, predatory indoctrinators falsely claiming to be teachers and educators in this country. That instead of teaching these kids math as a fucking math teacher, they're like, okay, kids, today we're going to learn about preferred gender pronouns. The fuck? How is that ever even in lesson plans at all, dude? It's insane. It's psychotic. Like, it just, oh my God, bro. It is so infuriating. It really fucking is. I'm going to go ahead and read this one here in a little bit, too, since we're here anyway. I would do this for Buckshot tomorrow, but it's worth it to just do it right now. Ohio police and prosecutors worry new Second Amendment Preservation Act would thwart gun investigations. No, they fucking won't, you pricks. What you're worried about is that your jackbooted asses can't do fucking federal gun confiscation anymore with the fucking Fed boys, is what it is. That's why you're pissed about it. Anyway, going back to the rest of this bullshit opinion piece that this Nick guy wrote. He said, when extremists in Missouri began promoting bills like Ohio House Bill 68 would ban transgender young people's health care, meaning gender transitioning for minors, my wife and I headed to the State House to testify against these bills. Throughout 2021 and 2022, we pled with lawmakers not to take away our child's health care. Again, literally cutting parts off of your kid is not health care, you jackass. Goddamn, dude. Taking on the rest of this, though, he said, our worst fears came true when Missouri passed a law that would effectively eliminate gender-affirming care in Missouri. Yeah. By the way, I love how they do the fucking word salad shit where they're like, gender-affirming healthcare. No, what you mean is literal fucking sex changes for minors, but you can't fucking say that shit because if you did, you'd have people be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you sick piece of shit? Which is exactly what I'll call you out right now, you sick motherfucker, Nick. The fuck is wrong with you, dude? Fuck is the matter with you, bro? Stop fucking with your son's life, bro. Seriously. Anyway, continue on to say, we chose to move back to our home state of Ohio for many reasons. However, we felt like Ohio would be more reasonable and welcoming place than the state we left. You realize you're leaving one red state for another one, jackass, right? Like, we're not going to put up with your bullshit here either, dude. You can take that shit and take it to fucking California, bro. or fucking Washington State, or these are left coast fucking shitholes now is what it is, Oregon, etc. there. And then this guy commits false claims, obviously, claiming, fact, transgender women are women and transgender men are men. It's time allies stand up. No, that's actually not a fact. That's an opinion. That's an opinion, dude. And in fact, I could actually say the real truth, which is that trans women are actually just con men. And the same thing goes to trans men being con women. You know? Now, granted, that being said, if you're talking about somebody like Buck Angel, you know, an actual trans male porn star is what it is, which I don't know if they do actual stuff anymore or not in the industry there, or if they're just doing other stuff now is what it is, because I've noticed recently, because I actually follow them on Twitter is what it is there, and I've noticed that Buck specifically will talk a lot about stopping kids from doing minor transition surgeries and stuff like that's what it is, because they themselves went through all that shit, dude. And that's a big thing. And even like Buck and Blair White, too, for that matter, you know, being, you know, a trans man and a trans woman there, they've had those discussions before in the past where they've discussed the HRT drug stuff and how it's sterilizing these kids. But they've also discussed on the same topic was how in Buck's day, when you, and this is back in like the late 80s, early 90s, when this dude, this chick started transitioning to a dude is what it is, which I'll sit there and call him a dude, honestly, because truthfully, like you look at that motherfucker, dude, and like, with the exception of the voice being really like, you know, still sort of feminine or like very low is what it is there. You look at that person on face value, like I see this dude walking down the street and shit like that, and I look that way and whatever the case be, I'm like, man, that dude's got a pretty rockin' beard. And then just keep walking is what it is, bro. Like I would just assume that's a guy, honestly. Because they can pass, is what it is. And it's the same thing with Blair White. You know, they've gone through enough transitional surgeries and stuff like that, whether it be, you know, facial reconstruction and stuff like that, or whatever the case be, to where they can pass as a biological female, at least to some extent anyway, is what it is. Now, obviously, when you take down the pants, there's different stuff there, obviously, but for both those individuals. But that's besides the point. At face value, they can actually pass for the opposite sex is what it is that they were born as. And going back to what Buck was saying during that one interview with Blair, is that when Buck was transitioning in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, you actually had real doctors back then that were like, okay, before you even start down this road, we're going to have you live your life as a man for the next like year or two is what it is, and make sure this is what you really want. And they were having them live their life as a man for like at least like 12 to 24 months is what it was there, before they even started to talk about any kind of medical procedures or any kind of medical transitioning or whatever the case be. Yet, meanwhile, nowadays, and there's many stories that have come out in the last year or two now, and maybe even the last 5 years for that matter, where the detransition movement has come forward and stuff like that and finally had a voice for once. And you've had a bunch of these people come out, and usually it's biological females for that matter, that will go to some Planned Parenthood or whatever the case be and be like, oh, I think I might be a guy or whatever the case be. And I remember hearing one recently where it was this chick going to one of these Planned Parenthoods within a half hour, 30 fucking minutes, by the way, for those who don't know what a half hour is, literally 30 minutes from start to finish, they went into a Planned Parenthood, talked about possibly being a man, were given an immediate appointment with one of the doctors there at that fucking facility, and within that half hour time span, like a 10-minute fucking, you know, discussion of like, oh, you think you're a dude? Yep. Okay. Check. Okay, here's some testosterone for you. And they were having them walk out with testosterone and other fucking hormone drugs, dude. After a half hour of fucking speaking with this person. Not even a half hour, actually. It was about, like I said, about 10, 15 minutes of a fucking survey, essentially. That is not medical care, man. That is literally the medical industry pushing lifelong patients. That's what that is right there. It's why you have many of these detransitioners now suing the shit out of Kaiser Permanente, etc. there, that are these medical facilities and stuff, dude. Because they took these kids when they were 10, 11, 12 years old and told their parents, specifically in the case of Chloe Cole and company like that, where they were telling their kids like, oh, do you want a live son or a dead daughter? Like, what the fuck is that shit? Like, seriously, bro. Who the fuck says that shit to a fucking parent and claims to be a medical professional? People want to know why I'm fucking pissed and why I discuss this stuff a lot on this channel anymore? It's because of shit like this, honestly. Like, who in the fuck thinks that kind of way, dude? Where you're like, oh, do you want a live son or a dead? Like, what the fuck, dude? No. It's, hey, kid, are you okay? Would you like to talk to one of our psychiatric doctors for the next hour or two? And maybe set up future appointments once a week or maybe even twice a week for a few weeks to a few months. And maybe find out what the underlying root cause of this fucking issue is. Not, hey, let's go ahead and put this small child on hormone drugs to permanently chemically castrate them. It's so fucking nuts, dude. It really is. It's just fucking psychotic. And that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, this whole point, like, this fucking guy, this Nick guy here, he's a fucking lunatic. He is a fucking psychopath. Fucking with his child, man. Yeah, and then of course under the BS factor, it says, "I'm a liberal. You'd be surprised why I'm so thankful for transphobic conservatives." Being against kids literally being medical castrated, dude, is not being transphobic. By the way, the whole term transphobic is fucking made up bullshit, dude. 100% across the board. Because the whole point of having a phobia is being scared of something. We're not scared of anything, dude. What we are disturbed by is the fact that you have sick-ass, predatory adults trying to permanently sterilize children. You have drawn the line in the sand. That is not okay, man. And we are taking that line and we are kicking the fucking dust up in your face is what it is, bitch. And saying, fuck no, asshole. Then we continue back on with the rest of this BS here. This Nick guy said, "Less than 6 months of returning to Ohio, I found myself again compelled to testify in front of politicians concerning a healthcare ban. Thankfully, the bill didn't move forward, but soon after, HB 68 took its place. This bill looks almost identical to the ones I fought in Missouri and during Ohio's last legislative season. They even share the same name, an anagram that spells safe. The irony and hypocrisy in the name is nauseating." How the fuck is it hypocrisy, dude, when you're literally talking about stopping kids from medical transitioning and milk experimentation, dude? It's not hypocritical at all, dude. The irony is that pieces of shit like you are even allowed to have voting rights in this country when you are clearly a sick-ass abuser, dude. And that's the entire problem right now. Like, there's reasons why people I do panels with joke about wood chippers, dude. Honestly. And in many cases, they're not really joking. Anyway. Jesus. Yeah, I love how this guy ends this here. It says, "Today, my child is treated at Cincinnati Children's, an award-winning clinic that specializes in healthcare that is endorsed as safe and effective by every major medical association." Jesus fucking Christ. No, it's not, jackass. I'm never going to read the rest of that crap because it's that fucking stupid, honestly, dude. God, it just, oh my God, bro, it just seriously sickens me to my core. It really does. Then the flip side of things, we also got this other story I'm going to talk about. We've got a couple other stories I'm going to talk about here. We got this one right here, though, that directly leads into the whole parents thing there. We got Armed Mom schools Congress on booming female gun ownership, refused to stand by. Says, women are considered one of the fastest growing groups of gun owners in the United States, and a House Judiciary Subcommittee this week will examine how gun ownership empowers women across America As crime spirals in many areas of the nation, the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Federal Government Surveillance will hold a hearing on Wednesday, which is today, obviously, and a trio of female gun experts and instructors will appear to advocate for America's Second Amendment rights, said Fox News Digital exclusively obtained a preview of testimony from one of the witnesses, Beth Elazar, a U.S. Concealed Carry Association, or USCCA, senior training counselor, who said, I am a writer, I'm an instructor, I'm a doctoral candidate working towards my terminal degree in curriculum and instruction, but first and foremost, I am a mother, and I have made a personal choice to live as a mom with a gun, said she would say in that committee. Said Alazar is the editor of Concealed Carry magazine and has authorized a handful of gun training documents for the USCCA, including women's handgun and self-defense fundamentals and children's firearm and safety fundamentals. So, yeah, she knows what she's talking about, what it is, dude. And then basically goes on to talk about gun ownership for women and stuff like that, which is the case, dude. There's a lot of, and that's the thing, too, by the way. There's a lot of leftists, for that matter, dude, that are becoming first-time gun owners in this country in the last couple of years now. Hell, since October 7th, look at how many Jewish people have now been first-time gun owners in this country because of the attack on their fucking personal safety is what it is, dude. You know, we talked about that a few weeks ago with Corey and I forget who else was in the chat that day, maybe Leo or somebody. And yeah, we were discussing that particular article about, it was one, I forget what the place is down here in Columbus, but it's basically some gun shop there. And it was the guy that Eric, I think it's Eric Dilbert is what the guy's name is or something. And he was discussing how, you know, since that day, and that was like over a month ago now is what it is. But yeah, it was like in that first month or so there, how you had so many Jewish Ohioans going out there and being like, hey, we need a gun for protection now. And it makes sense when you have all these crazy ass pro-Palestine rallies going out everywhere is what it is, dude. I mean, hell, you had one in New York City last night where they were literally going, specifically marching past Jewish-owned businesses to basically threaten these people is what it is, dude. And yet, meanwhile, New York being one of the most unsafe places and most anti-gun states in this entire country, these people have no way to protect themselves at all, man. And what's even more disturbing about that one is looking at that, going back to that video that I was watching of that last night on Andy No's channel is what it is. You have one cop out there, and there's like 75 people marching, dude. There's no way that person's going to be able to take out that crowd, man. They're just going to be mobbed and beaten to death is what it's going to be. And then they're going to move on to the Jewish people is what it'll be then after that, dude, if they're willing to go that route. But that's the problem, though. It's these people that are just threatening and intimidating is what it is, man. They're purposefully doing threats and intimidation on individuals in this country because they know they're a bunch of pussies is what it is, dude. They know they never have actual fighting ability because in many cases, like I've said many times on this channel, you look at these generations between my generation and other generations under me, it's a bunch of pussified beta males, dude. It's these people who never had a real fist fight in their entire lives. And then you wonder why you see all these different videos of like young guys going at it and scrapping at each other and stuff like that, dude. And they can't throw a fucking proper punch because they never had a fucking fight in their entire life, dude. They never learned how to fight is what it is. Meanwhile, you can go back 100, 200 years. You used to have fucking farm boys like Abe Lincoln going 17, 18, 19, 22 rounds, something like that, dude. In like random bare knuckle brawls and shit. And they would scrap until they're fucking pretty much gassed entirely, man. Then they would take a breather for 10 minutes, have a fucking beer, you know, at 15, 16, whatever it was there. And then get back up and do it again, you know? And that was their entertainment for hours on end back in those days, dude. So, anyway. Yeah, it's just crazy though, man. So I'm going to point something out, by the way, and this is what does kind of sadden and disgust me to some extent. Here is what it is, dude. So going back to the SAFE Act thing, there's what it is. HB 68 here. We have over 60 Republicans in the Ohio General Assembly right now. The fact that there was only 48 sponsors on this bill is a slap in the face to every Ohioan right now that voted Republican in the last general election, dude. That being said, the fact that now deceased Rep. Chris Jordan is actually still on this is kind of interesting, because he's been dead for a while now. So this must have been way before everything happened there. But my state rep, Reggie Stolfus, is also on this. And I know Reggie. He's a good dude. He has kids of his own. That's why he wants this to become a thing, is what it is, dude. So, yeah, let's see. You had, going back on this, back to June, we had a favorable passage out of the subcommittee it was in, and then we had an actual House passage on the 21st of June, where it was 64 to 28. And I guarantee the 28 were all Democrats. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm wrong. 2 Republicans voted no on this. Let's go ahead and find out who those fucking cocksuckers are right now. Of course, little bitch Jamie Callender, who's a known fucking rhino, was one of them. And let's see who their jerk-off was. Let's see. Brett Hudson Hillner, another rhino sack of shit. And I'm pretty sure that Brett is one of these people that's trying to fuck over SOPA right now in the state of Ohio. So, yeah. What a couple of scumbags, dude. What a couple of scumbags. But yeah, you had every Democrat that was there that day vote no against it. Almost every Republican vote yes, except for these 2 rhino sacks of shit, Callender and Hillner. It's fucked up, man. I'm sorry, but if you're voting against stuff like that to actually save kids from gender transition surgeries, dude, you should probably be in jail right now, honestly, because you're facilitating this shit, dude, because you're facilitating mass genocide of these kids, man. And I'm not talking about just these kids. I'm talking about the future generations that you have now helped do away with entirely by allowing these children to be on medical drugs, getting medical surgeries, etc. Like, how is that not crimes against humanity right now, dude? 100%. I guarantee fucking to you, if we exist as a nation in 40 or 50 years, you're going to have people look back 40, 50 years from now and be like, what the fuck were y'all doing in the 2020s, dude? Like, why weren't you rebelling in the fucking streets? And I can ask the same question honestly true. Why the fuck aren't we rebelling in the streets at this point, dude? And I think the real problem is, and I've talked about this many, many times over, you have people who are ready to roll, but we're not sure if there's others that will be backing us up. There was a woman in the comment section here for this that said, this bill will cause much harm to transgender youth and is based on men's conceptions. I said, sterilizing kids isn't medical care, Diane. So, yeah, fuck that stupid cunt, man. Fucking sick pieces of shit, dude. These people really are just sick in the head, man. I swear to God. Like, they really are just sick sons of bitches, man. Honestly, though, I kind of wonder Since going back to the actual article at hand there, being House Bill 68, this was supposed to happen this morning at 9 a.m. was the hearing for this. So I kind of wonder if it didn't pass already. Yeah, it was supposed to be 9 a.m. in the South hearing room for the hearing that was going on there, which is a House Government Oversight Committee hearing in the Ohio Senate then. So, actually, let's go to let's go to the Ohio channel right now, which is what they use to do our state house here for different stuff and whatnot. So, and I'll go and see if we can find that right now. Okay, let's see here. We got General Assembly, House, House. Let's see, House, Senate. Government Oversight Committee. Okay. So this was the hearing for this morning that's on here right now. So let's go ahead and see what was said here in this 11 minutes. Because I assume that they're... Actually, let's go ahead and see if we can find the... There usually is details here. Here we go. E-details. Okay, so we had... Yeah, substitute House Bill 68. An act, Ohio Saving Adolescents from Experimentation Act, fourth hearing is what they were having there for that. So let's go ahead and see if it was actually voted out or anything like that. Or exactly what this hearing was about, really, is what it is. So.
Month after the bill's effective date. It also addresses parental consent. It requires that a mental health professional, before diagnosing or treating a minor's gender-related condition, obtain the consent of at least one parent or legal custodian or the minor's guardian. The prior bill said each residential parent and legal custodian or guardian. It also removes the definition of gender from the bill. And in the legislative findings section, it removes the reference to the American Psychiatric Association data regarding the percentage of the American population that experiences distress at identifying with their biological sex. So that is a summary of the amendment.
Okay, so just amending it.
Substitutes House Bill 68 with Amendment 1582. Is there any discussion?
Discussion and objection to the amendment.
Okay. Senator Hicks Hudson.
And of course, that's the fucking
I'm objecting to the amendment.
Just to be clear,
it's coming.
This stupid fucking cunt right here, Paula Hicks Hudson, used to be a state rep in Ohio until 2022 when she was termed the fuck out of our state house and should have been out of the fucking office entirely. But yet her stupid fucking cunt ass then flip-flopped General Assembly to go run for the state senate and won in that district, as it was. Which is exactly what needs to be fucking done away with entirely in this state. This is why I'm so goddamn sick of career politicians here, dude, is what it is. Because you have these fucking Democrats that pull this shit every goddamn election cycle, and you'll have a bunch of fucking rhinos pull this shit too, for that matter. And they're all a bunch of fucking child molesters, dude. Legitimately. They're also a bunch of anti-gun fucks too, for that matter. And there's a reason why they're anti-gun fucks, because again, they're fucking child molesters.
At the last minute and not allowing for additional testimony. And while, and with all due respect,
stupid
you
bitch.
Did exhibit care and concern during the previous committee hearings. I think that by doing this amendment at this time, it's the highest level of disrespect to all of the people that.
No, it's disrespect is that you're even still in office, Paula.
My objection to the recitation of this amendment doesn't clearly show its effect. Number one, while it does eliminate the requirement for two parents, and only having one parent, it also ignores the testimony that was given about how during some emergency circumstances that psychiatry.
Okay, I'm not going to listen to her stupid bullshit, dude, because I'm so fucking sick and tired of this woman. All right, let's see if they just tell her to go fuck herself then. That's what they need to tell her, honestly. Just get the hell out of General Assembly, bitch.
Much testimony. And we also talked to other interested parties, and amongst other senators, and it did take time to put this together. But what we have before us today, I believe, is a good faith effort to find some common ground and good public policy. So
here's my problem with what State Senator Christine Rogner just said right there. There is no common ground with these fuckers, lady. Pass the fucking shit in its entirety intact. Don't amend it. Don't put it fucking watered down bills. And that's the problem with you fucking people in power right now, dude. That's the problem with you fucking rhinos here in power right now. And I'm going to call you what you are, rhino lady. You fucking Republicans in name only will sit there and be like, yeah, we'll pass this pro-2A or pro-life legislation, but let's put some bullshit caveats in it instead of it having be a strong fucking foundational piece of legislation from start to fucking finish. Stop compromising people's lives away. That's what you're fucking doing with this shit. If anything, what you should be doing with the SAFE Act is putting more hardcore shit in it that'd be like, hey, if you have people who are trying to gender transition kids in the state of Ohio, guess what? Their asses are going to fucking prison for fucking child abuse, and they're going to get the fucking death penalty by firing squad. That's what it needs to fucking be at this point, honestly. You want to do some shit? Go fucking hardcore as fuck, man. Like, this is what we need to be doing, honestly, dude. There's no compromising with demonic entities on the fucking left at this point, man. There's not. There never has been. And that's the problem. It's pieces of shit like you who are sitting there compromising away our rights one fucking term after another, one fucking year after another, one fucking General Assembly after another. And I'm fucking sick and tired of it, dude. And so is everybody else for that matter. The big difference is I'm actually the one who will speak the fuck up about it because of my own personal shit with the fucking feds 4 years ago. Because I had my freedom of speech fucking silenced for over 6 months of my damn life. And I will never, ever have it fucking silenced again. It's absolute bullshit, dude, entirely. There is no compromising. It's pass the bill in its entirety. Stop substituting shit into it.
With that, is there any additional discussion? No. So there is an objection, but the question is, shall the amendment become part of the bill? And the clerk will please call the roll.
Okay, let's see how the roll is here.
Yes.
No.
By a vote of 3-1, Amendment 1582 does become part of the bill. This bill is starred for a possible vote. Are there any further discussion?
Okay, so apparently that subcommittee in the state senate there was 4 people. I can only assume that 3 of them were Republicans, and then Paul X. Hudson was the Democrat in there, which makes sense given the makeup of the state senate right now, 33 people, and it being, I think there's 7 or 8 Democrats, and then the other ones are all Republicans then. Which, by the way, they have supermajority Republicans in the state senate right now, dude. If they wanted to, if every single Republican wanted to lockstep right now and kick out every single Democrat in the state house right now, they could on both sides of the aisle, dude. Both the state house and the state senate, but all parts of our General Assembly right now. If they truly wanted to lockstep together as one entity and say, fuck the Democrat Party entirely, you all are fucking criminals. You have all deprived Ohioans of their gun rights for decades now. You are continuing to try to do this with unconstitutional legislation like red flag laws, universal background checks, etc. You are also pushing literal fucking mass murder of the unborn and genocidal fucking shit. You are no longer in the General Assembly, period. And they just expel every single one of their asses right now. That's the problem, though, is you have these fucking career politicians with no goddamn backbone. And that's what I'm so sick and tired of, man. And that's what other members of the network are so sick and tired of right now. And that's exactly what most Americans are so sick and tired of right now, dude. It's like you have these people who have been in office for decades, whether it be, you know, even just a few years for that matter. It might be like 4, 5, 6 years, whatever the case be, or it could be like a decade or 2 for that matter, because they keep flip-flopping General Assemblies and stuff like that when they're turned out on one side or the other. And it's like, enough is enough, dude. Just leave. Leave the fucking seat, and somebody better, an actual constitutionalist or someone else for that matter, that wants to actually see true shit fixed will step up into that fucking role and do better and be more hardcore than your pussy ass ever would have been. So, anyway, let's see if they actually voted on this or not then. There's like 4 minutes left in this hearing.
On this bill? Senator Hicks Hudson, of course.
No, of
Thank
course.
you, Ken.
Fucking
And
Hicks Hudson stuff
I just want to say to all of you that are here that
blah, 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 blah.
we appreciate your coming to express your position.
Jesus fucking Christ, lady.
Some of us heard you, and I just urge you not to give.
What she really means there is who she's really talking to is all these fucking pieces of shit, literal fucking child molesters, literal fucking child abusers, who are trying to fuck with kids' bodies, who are trying to chop pieces of children off, and then wants to sit there and be like, some of us heard you, meaning us Democrats love to fucking suck your dick for your fucking vote, and then meanwhile do nothing when we get into office except grab for more power is what it is.
Give up in well-doing because the
I'm not even going to listen to your stupid bullshit there. Fucking shut the hell up, lady.
Moving in or considering.
Let's get to the actual vote there.
Thank you. Actually, after hearing the discussion last week and based on the fact that we have.
By the way, for those interested, this guy right here is Andrew Brenner. This is the guy who, I believe it was last General Assembly. He was actually going to a hearing. I forget where it was at. But basically, instead of just being like, hey, I'm going to be a couple minutes late for the hearing, like, I'm going to have to drive there, like, I don't want to be, distracted and stuff like that, he chose to get on a fucking Zoom meeting, basically, with these people. And you could tell he was in a car because he had a seatbelt across the thing, but he was fake. He had a fake fucking background behind him. It looked like he was, like, randomly sitting in a room is what it was. And it's like, dude, you're so fucking dumb. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you have fucking guys like this still in our General Assembly. It's like, you're just a joke, bro. Like, just leave and we'll have somebody better replace you is what it is, man.
A large chunk of people who didn't want one bit of this changed. I think this is a good compromise.
No, it's not, Andrew.
I think people that are moving in or considering moving into the state will probably take into consideration the law based on whether they are, transitioning or not. But they can make that decision before they move. And
are they minors?
A set date going
no, they're
forward,
not.
So people
that doesn't matter, dude. This is for minors.
So
stop minors from transitioning.
The changes to the bill.
Very good. Any additional comments? Well, again, I would like to thank everybody for participating in this process.
Okay, you actually get to the fucking vote then or not? We've got 2 minutes. Come on, lady.
And thank you
again
again for being here.
Do vote.
Senator Brenner, I'd like to recognize you for a motion.
I move to favorably report substitute House Bill 68 as amended to the Committee on Rules and Reference.
Good. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Chair Roder.
Yes.
Senator Brunner.
Yes.
Senator Lang. Yes. Ranking Minority Member Hicks Hudson.
Okay.
By a vote of 3.
I just figured out who that was then. Okay. So you had, so it was Christina Rogner was the ranking chair of that committee. You had Andrew Brenner, who was one of the ranking members there. And then you had George Lang, who was the other Republican, who technically that seat should be held by, I'm trying to remember what her name is now. She tried to run for lieutenant governor last year with, what's his name in a ticket? God, what is her name? She's super pro-life and super pro-2A is what it is. Candace Keller, that's who it is. It should have been Candace Keller in that role. But yeah, so you had Lang, Rogner, and Brenner be like, yeah, we're going to vote this through, and Hicks Hudson being like, no, this doesn't need to go through. Fucking stupid bitch.
Substitute House Bill 68 is favorably reported to the Committee on Rules and Reference. Members, please do not forget to sign the vote sheet. And this will conclude the fourth hearing of Substitute House Bill 68. I'll now revert back to our first order of business. We have a second here.
Okay, so it doesn't matter after that because it's something else then. But yeah, so the entire point is it was voted out, or not voted out, but it was voted to be amended now to basically compromise it down and water it down is what it is, which is so fucking stupid, dude. Like that's the, okay, this is the entire point, man. People are writing this piece of legislation to make it the most effective and, hey, it is concrete rock solid, dude. Why would you ever try to throw a bunch of fucking water and snow and fucking all kinds of other shit to degrade that concrete down, man. To degrade down the concrete foundation. Because you're fucking pussified. Because you want to sit there and have people pull at your fucking heartstrings and shit. Instead of being like, no, fuck that. I'm not going to have you pull at my fucking heartstrings. I have drawn a line in the fucking sand. This is where I fucking stand. And I'm not going to compromise to any of this fucking bullshit. And that's the problem, dude. You don't have enough hardcore people like that in power right now. So what do you have? You have people that will sit there and compromise, and they'll compromise one way and they'll compromise another way, and sooner or later, you have their rights compromised out the fucking window. And then you have pieces of shit like the NRA, etc. out there who claim to be pro-choice. It's never been fucking pro-choice at all. Meanwhile, back in 1986, went and bought a shitload of fucking Tommy guns, and then meanwhile, turned around and were backing the fucking Hughes Amendment of 86 to make machine guns illegal in this country. So that people like myself and my generation can never fucking have this shit without BS tax stamps and everything else like that, and other kinds of government infringement on our fucking rights. That's why we're fucking pissed, man. You know, and it's the same thing overseas for that matter. You know, you look at Britain, you look at England, you look at France, etc. now. You look at Ireland, for God's sakes, kicking things off currently. And it's because you've had generations see that their previous forefathers, their grandparents, their parents, their great-grandparents, etc., and the people that they elected into power fucking over their rights. And they're like, nah, bitch, I want my fucking shit back now. And they have every right to want that. And they have every fucking right to not have to compromise to bullshit. Enough is enough of compromising, dude. It gets you nowhere. This is the honestly, this is the problem with the Republican Party in a nutshell right now, dude. With the GOP in a nutshell, is they are so about compromising that they're just compromising themselves into retarded death camps. Is what it is. You water down one bill, you water down another bill, you water down 10 more bills, and then you wonder why fucking people are pissed at you. You wonder why people vote your asses out in primaries. You wonder why people run against you and primary your fucking asses out in 2024. This is the reason why. Because we've all fucking had it from your asses, dude. And I believe truthfully with the shit going on in the Ohio State House right now, dude, you're gonna see a lot of fucking primary challenges right now. And I'm honestly to the point right now. I've not filed paperwork yet to run for a Stark County Commissioner. And I debated about getting out of that race because everything going on with Mom right now. But the fact that I heard from her recently and she's doing good again and she's going to be healthy again, I'm seriously debating about jumping back in a race right now. And I'm not talking about jumping back in a Stark County Commissioner's race, dude. I'm talking about running for the fucking State House at this point and taking Reggie Stolfus' fucking seat at this point, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Because this dude, he's done okay in his time in office right now, but he has not done enough. He has not gone hardcore enough to where we need to be going hardcore. And if that means I, Adam, am going to take over that fucking seat and make things even more hardcore and have no compromise shit going on then, dude, and be the one leading the fucking charge on Second Amendment stuff, and potentially leading a charge and leading a possible constitutionalist coalition to getting into the speakership myself then that's what it means, honestly. Honestly, that'd be pretty fucking cool. Becoming a first-term state rep in 2024 and then running immediately for the Ohio House Speaker. And becoming the Speaker of the House of Ohio. And being the fourth person in line to the governorship. And I would have no fucking problem cooing against rhino sacks of shit like Mike DeWine at that point. And removing that fucking scumbag son of a bitch criminal out of office. The same thing with John Husted, etc., dude. And depending on if the Senate president is also a scumbag too, I'll remove their ass as well and take the fucking governorship myself that way then. Because that's what we need to have right now. You need to have people that actually doing fucking power grabs. And making this state and this country constitutionalist again. And if that's what it means, that's what it means. Now, granted, do I think I stand a chance right now? with no money, no financial backing, no party money backing, etc. No, I don't think I stand a chance. That's why I'm not going to probably run into the races with this there. But it's nice to fantasize about that kind of stuff. It's nice to think about that kind of stuff, honestly, you know. But that being said, am I seriously considering trying to run back into the race again for Stark County Commissioner, though? Maybe I am. It all depends if I can get my my stuff together and be able to get the signatures and stuff I need before the end of the year. Here's what it is. So, anyway, I'm still mulling it over right now, is what it is, man. It depends on what happens with Mom here and if I can actually get like rides to go do stuff, is what it is there. So, anyway, but yeah, other than that, though, I'm pretty much sick and tired of it. This is why I will advocate every day against this kind of shit, dude, against the compromising, against the fucking literal sterilization of children. And I honestly really wish, I really do wish that the Ohio General Assembly would just pass something already to do literal internet testimony like we have in other states across this country. I mean, hell, you have Connecticut. They'll do it's like a couple minutes a piece, people doing testimony over the internet and stuff like that there for 6-8 hours a day on 2A legislation. Like, why aren't we doing that here in Ohio, dude? And that's the problem. It's not embracing technology the way it needs to be embraced. You know, for people like me that can't get down to the state house, we should still have our voices be heard at that point in hearings, whether it be for or against, you know, pro-2A or anti-2A legislation, or whether it be, you know, pro-life or anti-life legislation, etc. Or like this, you know, I would have loved to have my voice heard in hearings, you know, in favor of that SAFE Act, against having kids be gender transitioned. So, anyway. It is what it is, though. Like I said, this is why I'll do these grandstands and stuff like that all the time. But we'll be back tomorrow for Buckshot Thursday, where I will have Corey on the panel, hopefully. And if anybody else wants to come on, you know, hit me up on the DMs and I'll throw you something in the Discord if that be the case then. But other than that, that's pretty much where I'm at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I will be back, like I said, tomorrow for Buckshot Thursday. We'll be back Friday for Freedom Friday as well. We'll be doing a couple different things for Buckshot and Freedom Friday, 2A related. And then it'll mostly just be, you know, various other topics of the day and stuff like that. But other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. As we always like to say when we end these things off, always be carrying with one in the chamber, because you never know if you're going to need to be your own first responder and be in a self-defense encounter. Because you will never, ever, ever have time to actually load something in, is what it is. Gunfights happen that quickly. Self-defense encounters happen that quickly. And you're going to need to be ready to go at any given time. So, you know, always be ready to protect yourself and others. And if something happens, always be ready to take down the bad guys. And it's as simple as that. Have a good one, y'all. Later.